Looks like it's working. The stream is on. Give a few minutes for people to come on in. Let's think about this. Let's think about what we're going to cover today while we wait, which is just a short amount of time. So, first of all, if you just catching me, I missed a couple days. It happens. You know, life happens. There's a birthday party to go to and stuff like that. So, Boost 32, coding in Bash, keeping scripts, collection, all of this jazz. It's going to be really fun. And so if you have already got here, if you're early, go queue up this shell style guide. Okay. I'll put it in the chat. I'm going to put it in the chat. It's already in the chat. I'm going to put it in the chat again. There you go. Wait, wrong thing. Whoopsie. Damn it. Technology. Paste. How about that? That's like my double buffers going on there. All right. So when you come on in, make noise, please. It will show on the screen, but I need to know everybody's here, and I'll go ahead and get going on it. But otherwise, go ahead and pull that up. Open the link, and this is what it looks like if you're using a graphic browser. Yeah, you like the title. I've changed a lot, so I might talk about that too, since sounds like we got people here now. But this is what we're going to be going over. We're going to be going over it really quickly. I'm going to spend about 40-50 minutes here today. I don't want to belabor the point. You can read it on your own. Again, the purpose of the boost is to show you sort of what you may not know about and sort of comment on things in a way that I have opinions. You know what? Okay, yesterday I was listening to a podcast, and while I was on my walk, I was getting my 10,000 steps in. I'm trying to get healthy again. Thank God for smartphones to help me keep me in line. and so I'm sitting here listening to it, and I'm like listening to all these opinions, and I'm listening to other people apologize for their opinions, and I'm like, no, opinions are good. Opinions are how science is made. Every opinion is the seed to a hypothesis. There, I'm going to be quoted on that. Every opinion is the seed of a hypothesis. And we know where hypotheses go. Hypotheses go, right? We know where they go. They go straight into science. And so if you actually do the research to test your opinion and then do some science on it, and you might end up getting a strong opinion, and who knows, you might end up discovering a scientific law of some kind, or an IT architectural law, or whatever. My point is, stop hating on opinions, and I should probably write that in a different post. But I mean, it's one thing to have opinions. It's attacking other people is different than attacking other opinions. Even if you do it and you're abrasive like Linus Torvalds or me or somebody, and you're attacking them in good faith and you're having fun with them, probably should still not do that. But the point is, you're attacking their opinions and stuff. You're not really attacking them, and that it makes you anyway. So I mean, I'm just tired of people like, being afraid of disagreement and opinions and stuff. And I just wrote about YAML and how it's an unpopular opinion to think YAML is actually good for the world right now, and that includes for me. Like 2 weeks ago, I was like hating on it. Anyway, so let's move on. You should have you'd be able to get up your container and attach to that, and we're gonna go into the shell stuff. I did want to make one administrative note here. I have pretty dramatically changed a lot of the titles here at the beginning of the boost. Just a quick reminder here. Hey, how's it going, Sandri? Just a quick reminder here. So the way I've added the outline at the beginning. It hasn't been linked in yet. So when the boost gets finished, eventually, all this stuff in the outline at the beginning. And by the way, this is much easier to read graphically. So I'll pull that up so you can see. But if you go to the boost and you scroll down here, here you go. Here's the outline, and the outline has got the outline. And I've been entertaining the idea of a book again. I don't know. We'll see. So a couple of administrative things here to go through, and I'll be really quick. So the first one is a lot of the titles have changed. My original intent with the titles was always that you could cut and paste one of these titles into a job description, and you could take the description of that title and the stuff in it and have that fulfill that item of the job description. So whether you're making job descriptions for people or you want to fulfill those roles, you should be able to say, I fit this line item. And some of them haven't changed yet, right? So Linux approach, get on a terminal. Get on a terminal, instead of saying get on a terminal, that'll eventually be changed to use a Mac, Windows, Linux, or Linux terminal, right? So, but if you look down here, there's some of the stuff later on here, like use this, use bash. This is a little bit different. Use aliases, use tech completion, manage bash shell. Explain, I've started to use the word explain a lot more. Explain and follow the rule of progressive enhancement. Know why Vim is blah, blah, blah. Maintain a portable Vim. So instead of having and start a scripts collection, I just changed it to keep or maintain a scripts collection because that would be more appropriate to see in a job description. These are all, characteristics you would hope to find in a beginning technology candidate or, maybe even beyond beginner. Another minor change that I think is some people are going to kind of complain about. I'm sorry, there's just not enough time. If you can't up all the lines here, you can do the math. There's like 128, 130 days coming, and that's fine. I mean, I don't have any problem doing that every year. But the stuff that was really, there was just no way we were going to be able to follow it was down here. And that's all the coding stuff. So we've kind of been waiting, and I know some of you are like slugging through this with us in the hopes of getting to the coding stuff. And I think that's fantastic. And I don't want you to worry. We're still going to do lots and lots of coding stuff, but I don't want it to prolong the boost past 380 days or so. So instead, as of yesterday, I changed the outline for languages. Now there's a pluses and minuses here. The plus is we're going to be able to cover a lot more languages. We're going to have a lot of open discussion about the languages. And that's, I'm actually really looking forward to that because this stream tends to fall over into the discussion of languages all the time on its own. It's like one of three major topics that keep coming up over and over again. So this way we'll be able to talk about programming paradigms and fight about that and discuss it. We'll be able to talk about languages. And we're in the middle of a video here. I'll ask you your question in a bit. Actually, if you want to ask that question in Discord in the hashtag AMA on Fridays at 6, I'm going to answer all the questions one at a time, and we'll have a good video on that. So if you have a question you want me to answer it's related, and this question just came in, what is your favorite subfield in computer science? And that's a great thing for me that I'll answer tomorrow, okay? So back to this section here. So this is a big, long section. But as you can see, it's got every language in here that I could think of that's even being used in modern era. Erlang, Elixir, Haskell are there, Java, Go, Perl. So this has now become, rather than here's where we're going to learn Perl, at least for the boost, it's going to be here's why you would learn Perl and what you would do with it. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about why you would learn Java. Honestly, Java is still the leading language for Android mobile apps, period. There's just no debating that. So, we're going to talk about the languages, and we'll get into a little bit of the syntax so you can try it out. We'll do a hello world in every single language, and you'll get a sampling of that thing because I keep getting the questions from beginners. And again, this is a beginner boost, right? So I keep getting the questions from beginners. It's like, I don't know what language I want to do. I don't know what things, and they want to tell me to tell them what language to use, like telling somebody what hammer to use. I don't know what project do you have. So we're going to talk about languages, and we've already learned how to code in shell and bash, and that is super important that you've got. I've never been more convinced, especially today. Just today, I wrote a Zettelkasten entry about bash and how important it is to learn bash, even more than my beloved Perl, because it's less cognitive overhead if you're doing everything in shell already. So you're actually able to produce more quickly and instead of having to try to remember the syntax of Perl or Python. So all of these things, you're already coding. Right? I just want everybody to know that. Right now, when you're coding in shell and POSIX and bash, we're going to do a lot about that the rest of this today. We're going to be coding in bash. Then you're already coding. So just own that, and then you can layer on other languages as you need in whatever order you feel is important. Now, I have a preferred order that I would like to suggest, meaning that I think you should learn bash, and then I think you should learn C, and then I think you should learn Go, and then I think you should learn Python. And then Perl in there somewhere. At one point I had Perl in place of bash, and I've changed my mind on that. But again, this is your decision. This is your life. You make the decision about what you want to learn. And actually, I'm going to bump up C++, modern C++ again. I can't believe I'm saying that. People that know me. But I'm actually really intrigued by modern C++, and I kind of want to go look at it again, give it a fresh look. So the administrative change that's coming is there's going to be a lot of languages. We're going to talk about them. We're going to sample them. And then we're going to move on. And so this keeps us under 130, 140 days total for the beginner boost. But then we're going to go on and I'm going to have other boosts. So the first language boost that I'm going to do out besides all of this is bash. We're going to do a beginning to ending bash shell/bash boost, which is like every single part of the language. We're going to go through the man page. It'll probably be a 30-day boost all by itself. And then after that, the next one I'm going to do is probably Go. Because I love Go. I know it's probably not the best order. I should probably learn a little bit of C first. But I am overwhelmingly asked every day, please, 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 please make Go material. We don't have anything. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do bash and I'm going to do the Go. Those are my two most requested topics. So those are the boosts that are coming, and I just wanted to put that out there. All right. Does anybody have any feedback on that? If you do, just let me have it, and we'll go for it. All right. So so today, start scripting. I mean, because, again, the purpose of the boost is to just kind of briefly go over things and kind of push you in the right direction. But it doesn't cover everything comprehensively. That's up to you. That's up to you. And it always should be up to you, by the way. You shouldn't ever be blaming somebody else to teach you all that stuff. Now, there's things that you might be, need to explain to you and stuff like that. And that's different. Everybody does. Reminds me of when I was taking physics in high school, and then, I just was not getting it. And my dad just talked me right through it right away. We figured it right out. So sometimes you need somebody just to kind of extra set of eyes to explain it to you. And I want to be there, and the community wants to be there for you for that. Beginner boost day 32, coding bash, keep scripts collection. So let's go ahead and attach. Let's go ahead and attach to our thing. So Docker run, actually no, what do we do? Start AI boost. Now, if you don't know that, you're going to have to go back and watch it. su-me. That's all covered in previous days. I have to say that every time because someone's going to ask. And we have 30 minutes to code. All right, so and we have got a script in here and some stuff. So what do I mean by a scripts directory? Okay, so first of all, I have to tell you, if we've already covered POSIX shell scripting, and we covered everything. We covered POSIX is a very, very, very simple language. You can cover the whole thing in literally 2 days, 3 days. We actually did it in 5, I think. It's weird. It looks weird. It's not going to look like any other language when you come to it, but you do it every day on the command line, so you might as well learn it. Bash is more than that. Bash just builds on top of that. It kind of puts layers on top of it, which can get confusing, especially if you learn it first. I've met a lot of people who have learned, myself included, in year 2020, I'm going to just say, in 2020, I learned Bash. I'm going to put this, don't be me, learn POSIX first, then bash. So to be fair, I'm not going to put that. I actually did learn POSIX first, and then in 2020, I allowed myself to use bash. People have heard this story lots of times, so I'm going to say it again, though. So I allowed myself in 2020, after having 5, 6, 7 years from my IBM job where I was required to do POSIX and nothing but. And then all of a sudden, I was like, I'm going to give myself permission to use bash. So I did. I used bash for all of 2020, and then I went back to write a POSIX script and could not do it. So yeah, and then use shell. What is it? Check. Use shell check. Don't worry, and just don't worry about it. So this is my new position on this. So you're like wondering, why am I covering bash? Because in the boost, I actually said, bash is probably too much. Probably don't need to do POSIX because you can share with all your friends, which is true. But just today, I had a situation where it's kind of a cool little thing. I made little snippets, sort of saying, oh, let me show you. So I made a little tool. So okay, I'm gonna put this in here so it's relevant. Example of utility script. All right, so let me give you an example. I called it lynxa, and it's so cool. So I'm just, I have more fun talking about stuff that I've made so it's not so much bragging. It's just more fun to talk about it. So okay, let's say I'm in the README thing right here, right? So actually no, let's say this. I'm in I don't know, scratch.md, how about that? So I don't know, let's say I make a Zettelcast entry. So I'm gonna make a Zettelcast entry. Actually I already did that, so I don't want to waste that. So I'm editing this file, blah 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 blah. Let's say I want to put in, I go on the internet and I say, you know what I could do? I could do one for shellcheck. All right, yeah. Actually, no, let's do that. Let's do that right now. Yeah, I know you guys, I'm so loosey-goosey, but that's just how I am. So this one right here, right? So let's say I didn't have that. Okay. Let's say I couldn't remember where the Google Shell scripting guidelines are. Again, I'm giving you an example of a script. And so I was like, okay, I'm searching. We're going to learn how to search. It's on the counter. That's why I can't do all the language stuff, because we've got to teach you how to do real wicked fast searching. So we're going to search for Google Shell, let's see, bash shell style guidelines. All right. And boom, first hit. Okay, so I'm going to go there. I got this like beautiful shell guidelines. We're going to be reading it, right? Now, here's the magic. So I'm going to save it. I want to save a bookmark to it. A-D. I want a bookmark to it. There it is. I want to change the name. I'm going to change the name to Google Bash Scripting Style Guide. So now I have this thing called .lynx. Let me show you. It's so cool. I love links. I have not been using bookmarks as powerfully as I can. It's really great. Look at how old this HTML is. Look at how old it is. This HTML in the bookmarks file from links, it's like, seriously, straight from 1990, whatever. I mean, look at it. It's even got capital letters. I mean, if you've ever seen original HTML. So when you do the bookmarks file just like randomly adds HTML to the end. Okay, I mean, yeah, it's old. It probably could be updated. I don't care. Because why? I know it's like really old, but I don't care. I don't care. You know why? Because watch, I can go like this. I got my new tool here. I can do bang. Wait, I'll put my S keys on so you can see the wonderfulness of this. Otherwise, it's not as you want to appreciate. So bang bang links A. Okay. Now if I do links A3, I get the last 3 links. Yeah, watch. Huzzah! So I got the last 3 links. I got the last 3 links as markdown links, and I put them in a bullet point. Yeah. And I didn't have to do any cutting and pasting or anything. I just had to change the title and save it from links and then do links, boom. If I wanted the last one, boom, boom, links A, boom. Yeah, there it is. Isn't that cool? I mean, come on. That is just cool, right? So this is why I'm completely obsessed with writing utility scripts. People laugh at me all the time because I'm on the weekend. I'm like using my weekend to like clean up my dot files. It's like a never ending thing. My status on Twitch is always cleaning up dot files. Yeah. So, you know, but it's not only bookmarking, it's like pulling it into any document I ever wanted to write in. So let's say I'm making a Zettelcast and it's like, I could do a Zet. It's like, how about this? Reviewing Google Bash style guidelines. Remember my whole Zettelcast and stuff, which we're going to cover again. Never stop appreciating the value of the Google Bash style guidelines. Anyway, so, and then I can go down here and I can do bang bang links A, and there it is. Now I'm going to change this, so I'm going to make it into one of these refs, which doesn't take very much, but now it's called a let's be on the same line though. Now I can save that. Now that's saved in my Zettelkasten. So I can bookmark stuff with context in my Zettelkasten and then search it and find it instead of having it just go into my bookmarks like black hole. Everybody knows about this, right? You like, how many of you have bookmarked a whole bunch of stuff and they can't ever find it again? It's like, yeah, I know it's like, it's the FUD. You don't want to lose it. So you bookmark it and you never can find it again. Well, now I've got it associated with my notes, and oh wow, I got a 2-month subscriber from that comment. Linux How To, hey, welcome. Thanks for you being here too. Another subscriber. So the point being that, you know, you want to go get to, so it's a utility. Okay. So a little show and tell there to kind of make the case that you want to do things that are useful and fun, and like take a little bit of time. I mean, somebody called it ricing. I think it's a racist term. I'm sorry if it is, but you're rice your term. You don't need to. It's like you just make. So that's my example. All right. So you want to see it? You want to see it? Let's look at it. Okay. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do. I'm going to show you how to set it up. Okay. So first of all, when I make a new script, I don't know whether to show you behind the curtain or in front of the curtain first. Let me show you in front of the curtain still. All right, so this is what I did today. So today I was like, I need this file. I need this little program to do this thing. So I typed newx, and this is yet another script tool. All of these are tools that you can put in your own scripts library. This is the great thing about scripts libraries, is because it's all open source, you can like exchange your best scripts with your buddies. This is why you should, try to write them in POSIX, but if you write them in Bash, that's fine. Their system is likely going to have Bash on it. This is the difference. People will argue about Bash and Z shell all the time and stuff like that, and then they'll say one is better than the other, and it doesn't matter, because if it's a shell script, there's a good chance it's been installed on the system. Right? So usually what they're arguing about is which one is the best interactive shell, and there's a separate argument about which one's the best one to code in. They're totally different. They're totally different, because one of them is about, portability and stuff like that. The other one's about usability and user interfaces and stuff like that. Yeah. All right. So we're going to go ahead and, so I have this other program called newx, and if I wanted to make a program called foo, actually, no, let's do that. Let's do it. What should we make? Newx. What should we say? Yeah, I would like a good bookmark engine. Yeah. You can try it with Node. You can do whatever you want, dude. And that's the thing. It's up to you. There's nothing more fun for a beginner than writing a little scripts collection, because you know why? It's like I don't know. It's like junk food, sort of. It's like really quick. This is why I chose the career of operations in SRE. Because I'm constantly making little improvements to my life and to other people's lives that give me the hit. If you're a formal software developer, what happens? If you're a formal software developer, and that's fine, right? I'm going to put this here. The quick hit and attraction of script creation. I'll write better about it later, but I don't want to lose this point. So the point is this: it's like writing a little shell script or cleaning up your .dot files is immediately satisfying. In fact, it's so satisfying that you watch out, because you can end up doing it all day and not getting work done. All right, raise your hand if you've lost a full day to writing some utilities to save yourself time. So it's like an opportunity cost thing. It's like, okay, I invested a full day. We all do it. You know why we do it? Because it's so much fun. It's so much fun that I parsed YAML with grep. Oh my God. Now I'm just going to have nightmares. Stop. Don't, that's scary. That's like way too scary. Okay. So here we go. I mean, honestly, we're going to get to how to do this show. It's not that hard. So I'm just trying to talk about why you would do it. In some ways you could do it. This entire video boils down to create a directory, put the directory in your path, and write scripts in it. The end. That's really it. So I'm just kind of give you some examples of stuff you might want to put in there and how you can integrate into that. Yeah. So we have people raising their hand there. So one of those things is, you know what I hate doing? I'm seriously, it was annoying me. It was like, I have to go to my scripts directory. I have to make a script. I have to touch it, and I have to change its executable permission. I have to put the shebang line at the top. I'm like, no, that needs to be automated. So I automated that. So here's behind the curtain, newx. So here's my newx. Now you guys know, oh, well, already I have to change this. I don't like this. I'm going to put test here instead. I like test better than brackets now. We talked about this, so I'm not going to talk about it again. Yeah. I could probably change this to bash now, but this is okay. So when I write a script, so here, we talk about progressive enhancement. Where is it? Quick hit of attraction. Okay. One-liners. All right. So, use progressive enhancement. What's progressive enhancement? Use what you have. Least possible technology. And then move up. So if you have something you need, just own it and say it's a bash script. But if it's not, start out as POSIX. right? As soon as you start doing shit with like command line shells and like sub shells and weird stuff with maybe, you know, expression expr, which is deprecated. As soon as you start doing that, it's probably time for you to use the bash, right? So don't be afraid of learning bash. All right, I want to spend at least 10 minutes on the shell style guidelines. We're going to go learn bash in one day, going through that. All right, so this is just this little thing here. And all it does is it creates a file of a certain name, gives it a chmod plus x, and exits vim into it. So after I get done with it, I end up with vim. Yeah, internships. Oh, for web dev, yeah, totally. So here we go. So I do this. So I can do this. I can do newx. What should we call it? Newx. Is there a smile already? No. Okay. So let's do this. Newx smile. And see, it put me right in there, right? And I can write echo, I don't know, smile. Actually, no, I can do vi smile. All right. Do you know there's smile in vi? I told you that, right? Yeah. NeoVim ripped it out because they're evil people. They got rid of this. How dare they? All right. So anyway, so echo. How about that? There's a smile. There. My script is done. And now I can just type smile. Boom. It works. See, but I didn't have to think about it. And so having a little script like that. So here, let me give you one, right? So give newx. There you go, everyone. There's one to start you off. And you're going to start sharing them. So where are we going to put these things? Let's talk about that. So mine all go into what I call a scripts directory. I type scripts and it takes me. So what is in my scripts? Now, scripts is one of these things that's like, what is it, right? So I'm gonna give you the over really fast of how I do this stuff, and it's not gonna be here. We'll cover that here. So this is how I do it. So I create a scripts directory. Create a yeah. There we go. Yeah, this is what I do. So create a .local bin directory for now. Okay, we're gonna eventually make all of this into a GitHub repo, and we're gonna symlink it all and all that stuff. That's coming. We're not doing that right now though. So create a local bin directory. Okay, then go into the directory and put your scripts in the directory. Put your scripts in the directory, and then create shortcuts to get there. Shortcut commands, commands and functions to get there. To use it. Okay, and so this is where we have. Let me give you a few names for them. I think you should probably make yourself a newx. You can call it whatever you want, but I call myself newx. Batteries being able and prod and whatnot. Yeah. So I make a newx. I have a scripts function to cd into scripts. Now sometimes, so I mean I don't know. Let's try it. Consider, I'll say, okay. Consider creating a scripts environment variable. Why? So that you just know where they are, right? And that way you can code it. You can code it. You don't want to. If it's an environment variable, then you can move it around and stuff, and it's not gonna freak out. So I mean, these are all things you can do. So we're gonna do this all in the bash RC, and then hopefully we'll get through the bash. If we don't get through the shell style guideline for Google, you can read it yourself. So I'm not gonna stress about that. But newx and script is kind of nice to have, and then you can do it. Okay. So first things first. Let's go back let's get on my Docker container. I'm gonna try to do this. All right. So ls-l tilde.local. If you need to slow this down, I'm going pretty fast. So if you need to slow this down, just pause it and watch it and do the thing. Hello. So is it finding it? Okay, we already got my path. I already created a .local bin. So now it's a matter of writing stuff in there, right? So let's actually write a script in there. Actually, no, let's do some other things first. So let's say, do we have a scripts? Yeah. No, we don't. So let's add it to our bash RC. So, okay. Scripts. I don't know if we can put, I mean, you can put whatever you want. This is yours. This is your bash RC. Might as well mine is. So I'm actually going to add a function though. So where's our environment variables? Do we have environment variables? Where are they? They're like all over the place, right? And let's add another one. So export scripts. I'm going to make scripts be .local bin. All right, that's what my scripts are. All right, so now what? Now I'm going to go down here. I'm going to say, what else can I say? I can say, what's my functions? Do I have functions? Yep, here we go. So let's say I want a function called scripts. Okay. Now, why is this a function and not a command? This is a little bit of a review, but why am I making a function for this and not a script itself? I'll show you. I kind of gave it away right here. It's under cd temp, right? So we're going to make a function called, this function is called scripts. And the truth of the matter is, you could probably get away with an alias here. Yeah, we could get away with an alias. Do we need a function? Function or alias? Am I ever going to use it in a subshell from VI or something? No. No, because it's just, its only purpose is getting me into my scripts directory. So I'm going to do this, say scripts, and I'm going to say I want a cd into $scripts. By the way, why are this is sometimes counterintuitive. Why are these single quotes? Why do I want single quotes here, people? Very, very important. Make sure you understand this. Pause for a second. Make sure you understand why this alias has a single quote around a variable. Why on earth would I ever do that? Anybody want to take a stab? We talked about it before, but it's a little bit, it won't expand. Right. If I don't put a comma there, what happens? I'm going to show you. All right, so let's do this. I'm going to make double quotes. I want you to really see this. This is so important. All right, double quotes expand at that moment. Okay, so watch what happens. If I source this, now watch. If I type scripts, it'll whoops. Oh man, did I start a script file? There's actually a command called script. I forgot about that. It'll record everything you type. It's pretty cool. Scripts. Look what it did. It got me to the right place, right? But watch. Pretend like I wanted to change it. I don't know why, but this is just a general concept. I might not change this very much, but if I did, export scripts equals /temp, right? Now, what's going to happen when I use my alias now? Anybody want to guess? Let's go back home. If I type scripts now, what's it going to do? Oops, there's my stupid TypeScript thing. What's it going to do? What's it going to do? What? But I changed my scripts environment variable and it's still taking, I want to take it to me to temp now. What went wrong? Okay. I changed it. I don't get it. What's going on? The reason is because when you have your aliases, yes, exactly. That's the best explanation ever, Professor Elements. Runtime instead of compile time. I mean, in terms of shell, which doesn't technically have that, but yeah, I mean, all things are compiled, so we could debate that all day. The reason is because when this line gets, remember, bash RC just processes one line at a time when it runs. So bash RC runs every time you have a new shell. So when you get a new shell, it goes through every line. It gets to this line, and this line says, oh, I'm going to replace whatever the value of scripts is at this moment in time when my shell just started. And then you happily run around with your shell and everything. You call scripts the next time. And it's the same thing as if you had hard-coded the value of that at the beginning in there permanently. But if you use a single quote, then it evaluates that every time it runs. And it's, you know, it's what you want. It's a slight performance cost, but who cares? I mean, this is exactly what you want. So then when you do this, you load up this guy, and now let's go back home. Scripts will still do the same thing. But now when I change the value of scripts, so export scripts equals /temp. And now when I type my scripts alias, it should take me into /temp because it sees the difference. Super important. And I spent a lot of time on that, but every time we go through that, I need to make sure that you get that, because that people get burned on that all the time. So consider creating a scripts environment variable, which we just did. Okay, let's see. Alias, how about this? Let's see, how about this? Add alias scripts equals cd into scripts. Okay, you guys got that? You enjoy? Oh, Branos, that's very nice of you to say. But these are all things that I've been burned by. so that's why like as soon as I go like, oh, remember that one time, I'm like still traumatized from it. So I make sure to mention it. It wasn't in the plan. This is why I'm so loosey-goosey with everything, because like when I have those feelings, I like make sure to say them. Anyway, so put your script in a directory. Okay, so we got that script in there. Create shortcut commands and functions to use. All right, so let's make a newx, right? So let's go ahead and do that. We can probably make that in 7 to 5 minutes. Put a script in a directory. Create shortcut commands for functions to use. Yes. All right, so to make a script, let's just refresh the steps. Okay, so you should already know these steps. But now that we have scripts set up, I just type scripts. Ooh, took up half the battle for me already by putting me in the right place. I'm so happy. CD without anything takes you home. So for 43 years, I did this to get home. And then one day I realized just hitting CD with no tilde, which is much better on my fingers, it takes you home. I will never forget when I figured that out. I was like, oh my God, this is like, I feel so silly. Anyway, scripts. So here we are. We're here, and I'm going to make a new file. All right, so how am I going to do this? What are the steps? You guys should know this, but I'm just going to do it because we're running out of time. All right, so we're going to touch a file, newx. Okay, but can I run it? No. Why can't I run it? Because it doesn't have a permission. So I'm refreshing what we've already covered. So chmod +x. If you're really lazy, do you want to be lazy like me? Chmod +x. I do it so much that I have actually done this. I am ashamed. I have a thing called schmox. To each his own. That's all I gotta say. Chmod +x. I never hit those keys right. I make that mistake so much. I actually once had a friend change man to be MNA. He had like aliases for all of his misspellings from the stuff he does. And this is where someone comes in and tells me that Fish and Z Shell like does a better job of thinking about what you really wanted. Probably true on that front. But so schmox. So schmox is the thing. Alias schmox. Does it need to be runtime here? Yeah. In this case, no. Well, it does, but so in this case, yes, prof. I know. I don't want to lose it, so I'm going to go load it up. Yes, you're thinking ahead of me. So now I can schmox newx. So that's an alias. Now that's not like it's like, come on, it's easier. You know what else? Watch. I can complete it. Yeah, I can just do schmox. I'm so lazy. It's like schmox. Okay, whatever. Yeah, you don't have to do that. See you later. See you later. You guys taking off? Okay. So we are almost out of time here, but so we got this newx thing. Well, what's going on in newx? So I'm going to make it, let's make it a bash script because we've been talking about bash. Don't you ever put user bin env bash. Don't do it. Fine, do it if you want to. I don't care. I just don't like it. I don't like it, and it's insecure. The end. I mean, come on. If someone's like sharing your script, the minimum thing they can do when they read a script, okay, first of all, if you're sharing scripts, it's not going to go in some fancy package that has to be able to run from anywhere. Usually, If you're writing like a Docker installer or a Helm installer shell script that needs to run everywhere and just work, then yeah, maybe user bin env makes sense in that case. But most of the time, user bin bash is going to work. And if you're on a Mac, it's not, right? It's going to be user bin local bash or whatever. So, but you should spend a little bit of time to do it. So I've argued about for this case in the past. I hate env. I blame Ruby. Nobody saw user bin env on anything on the command line, on the shebang line, until Ruby. And Ruby was a great language for its time, and still really popular with people. But anyway, so user bin env. Enough of that. So what are we doing here? Well, what do we need to do to make a script, right? So first things first, I need to. I can change it on scripts I downloaded the right. Yeah, of course you can. So that's the thing. I mean, you can if you down. Okay, this is another thing. If you're usually putting scripts into your scripts directory, please. Okay, I'm gonna put this in here. I have to put this in because if I don't, someone's gonna do it. I'm gonna claim. It's like always check. How about this? Read every line of any script you put in your scripts directory. Do I need to write it like that? Do I need to write it like that? Can I? Okay, I have to say it because if I don't say it, someone's gonna do it. Never ever put anything in your scripts directory that you don't understand. All right, so don't just add things you don't understand. This is not NPM, people, where everybody just trusts the entire NPM ecosystem to install whatever they want on their computer. That's how the worst Lodash worm in history happened. We're not doing that. No, you're not doing that. You're better than that. You're security conscious. You're going to read stuff before you just install it as root. If you don't, there's actually a really funny thing about that. So make sure you know what you're running. Yes, Prof is out. Prof is like screaming at us too. I curl YT dip into a file, but it was binary, so I couldn't read it. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't be okay doing that. Unless it had a check. So another thing too. So I'm going to put this here. Consider comparing to checksums. Man in the middle. And I wasn't planning on talking about this, but seriously, people, part of this conversation is actually, I didn't really plan this, but it's about being safe out there. And, you would not, sleep around with a bunch of foreign code out there. It might be really attractive, might be really sexy, but you just don't know what's inside. It might have some problems or something. So seriously, people, if it's a binary, and you're, first of all, know where it's coming from. So this is just, we're talking about shell scripts here. So if you can't read the code, then find some alternative way to know whether it's good or not. And that's usually about checksumming, which we're not covering today. If it's coming, some ecosystems are very well protected. Like the Go module system is very, very well protected. They have their own caching servers and everything is authenticated with certificates. And you can even in GPG, I'm talking too much, but you can actually check that it's a verified committer to the GitHub repo, and then when you're using that code, automatically that it's okay, and you just have to protect yourself against man in the middle, which Go install automatically does. It's not just Go that does this, but make sure that you trust the language that's done. If it's a script, you should be able to read it. So you should learn Bash. In fact, you not should learn it a little bit. You should learn all of it. And I said I'm going to put a plugin for this. I'm going to do an entire Bash boost. I don't know how many days it's going to end up being, but we're going to go through the entire man page. If you want to get started right now, do man bash and start at the beginning. Okay? Do man bash and start at the beginning. Before you read the shell scripting guidelines, which I linked to, start with bash. Now, this is boring. It's dry. It's horrible. It's relatively easy to read. It talks about your bash RC, but one of the main points for today, download McAfee virus scan because of a nice name and description. Oh my God. Just don't even talk to me about that. We're doing bash, yikes, but awesome. Yes. So this is bash, right? So, it's a lot. It's a lot. In fact, let's see how many lines of bash code are there. Shall we see how long does it take? We're out of time, but we finally made it. GNU Bash 5.0. the worst part about Bash is that it is GNU, unfortunately, which means it's it's got all kinds of license problems. But I don't even know how many. Okay, so that was, how long is that? 5,405 lines long. And so yeah, that's what you should learn, and then go do the other thing. But if you want to stick around and deal with me, so we've covered all the bases today. We covered why you would want a shell script directory. We already told you. In fact, in the previous day, we created user local bin or home local bin, which is what? That's the standard now. So that's what you want to use. That's the open desktop standard. And then you put everything in there, and we got started making a newx script, which I'm going to encourage you to make this week for homework, maybe tonight even. Make a little script that does what you want, that, creates a new script and puts you in there and starts up with VI. And start, putting your fun scripts in there. Go through my scripts library, go through other people's scripts library, and just get started with it. Have fun with it. And just know that you're going to eventually be backing it all up, right? In fact, that's coming. What day is that? GitHub. Let me just give you, so you don't get worried. Okay, so this is what we have. So this is how far away Git and GitHub are. So those of you who are worried about losing your work, which I would be, you're not going to, right? Because containers are persistent until you explicitly delete them. So we're doing this right here. We're going to have a whole week or more on VI. We're going to spend a long time on VI because I keep fighting against this tide of ignorance on VI. And I'm going to try really hard to not attack anyone, but I'm definitely going to attack NeoVim. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay, but I'm not attacking anyone. But mostly I want you to understand the progressive enhancement rule for VI. We did this already when we learned it, but we're also going to do, I want you to walk away from this being able to understand what's in your vimrc file. And raise your hand if you have vimrc, but you have no idea how it works and what's in there. You just know your friend had that and it makes it do a particular thing. You don't need to learn all of Vim script, but you should definitely, the value of VI in Vim just goes up by tenfold if you know how to add an entry of any kind into your vimrc file, if you understand the basic events file. So that's next. So we're going to start talking about that tomorrow, actually. And I'm super excited about that. I mean, the scripts collection, I told you it was going to be pretty quick and dirty, right? Make a directory, write scripts in it, create an environment variable called scripts so you can script things that do stuff with your scripts directory environment variable. Spoiler alert, your newx is going to need your environment variable called all caps scripts. So when you write newx, let me know. If you have questions about newx and how to write one, post them to the Discord or into the IRC and then people will help you out. And then, so that's another couple of weeks away. And then we're going to do all about networking. Why? Because we need to do SSH and GPG before we get into Git and GitHub. And then we're going to do all Git and GitHub. So that's probably all of July. So through the end of July and August or something like that. We'll be doing all of that. That's all I have for today. Does anybody have any, is he here for the VI? Yeah. And there's going to be a lot of things that I'm going to discover while we do the Vim stuff. Vim is one of these things that I have just really, really, a little bit here, a little bit there, kind of learned it. And I want to talk about that. I hacked my own, Pandoc Markdown. I put smart quotes in there. I wanted smart quotes so bad in my Markdown that I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And it was painful. So maybe you can learn from some of that pain. One of the things about the Vim team that I will agree with is that Vim script is not fun to write. It just happens to be the standard. so we can have fun bantering about that. Hopefully, most of the people. We'll talk about that next week. But that is here to come. As learning Bash may be tougher. Oh yeah. Well, learning Vim script for sure. Bash is pretty damn easy once you get the man page and the shell scripting guidelines from Google. And by the way, the only thing about the Google style guidelines that I disagree with is the overuse of internal curlies. And I'm going to say that. Actually, I'm going to put that in my Vim thing. So because this is supposed to be calling out stuff that's different, right? Only disagreement is over commenting. They really have you over comment. So I'm just gonna put those right here really quick for you. I still have a little bit of time. So I mean, seriously, they have you really over commenting, and then they have you do some is unnecessary. Unnecessary curlies. You know, you'll eventually want them. They say it's because it's consistent and stuff. I don't like that. So, and that's like probably my two biggest gripes about Bash. But there's a lot of really good things in there. One of the things I agree with the most in there is that they say if your shell script is over 500 lines long, time to do it in another language. I cannot tell you. So yeah, I'm gonna put that in there. So let's see. Personal about that. Personal opinions about. I don't know. I'm trying to be fast with it. Disagree with overcommenting. Disagree. I mean, you don't care what I think, but I've had people doing this one too. But a good lenter, yeah. We have shell check for that. Yeah, for bash comments there. Yeah, bash use bash group. Agree strongly with if over 500 lines. Let's see. Lines, use something else. I have to joke about that because actually I read that line. I read that line in a thing, and I decided it was time for me to put a bunch of stuff that I had written into Go, and that's what that caused me to finish Command Box, which is first version is done now. The 1.0 is coming this month, and we'll be off and running on that. So I think that's about it. VS Code has a bash plugin. Maybe there's some autodoc for it. Yeah, there's definitely, maybe. I mean, I just, you know, whatever. My scripts are never that significant. So if they are, you definitely should comment them and stuff. And bash really sucks at commenting because, you know, it's hard. I do think you should separate it out. So I just think as soon as you start dealing with most of my shell scripts, let's be for real, are not more than 200 lines, 100, 200 lines. Because, you know, it's the Unix way to do things small and then to add them together. Now, there are crazy long shell scripts in the cloud native world because of Kubernetes and kube control. And people are, you know, feeding here docs inside of scripts to do installs and stuff like that. And that's a case where, yeah, you're going to have more than 500 lines or so. In fact, how much is the install Docker one, I wonder? I'm just curious. Let me just check something really quick. I don't think I have it anymore. I think I took it out. Yeah, I did. Wait, maybe no. One other thing. I'm just curious because this is a pretty significant. Actually, if you want an example of some really, you know what, I'm going to put that in my notes here. I'm going to put that in my notes here. Yep. I'm going to say have a. Why is that doing that? I should not be doing that. All right. I feel very. Why? Something. It thinks there's like a tag somewhere that there is not. I don't know what's up with that. I don't know. I know. I'll do this. Okay. So have a look at install Docker for bash example. I think it's bash. Prettiness guideline. Yeah. I'm trying to find it. Files. I mean, I will find it. I promise. Git grep Docker. Where are you? I know you're here somewhere. Install the Docker. Install of the Docker. Entry point. No. Install Docker. There it is. Oh, wow. It's in your local bin? Really? I did not know this. Local bin. Oh, I guess not. All right. So files, user. local bin, no, share dot local. I don't know. I want you to see it though, so I'm gonna have to send it to you. Share. Oh, workspace dot local bin. Install Docker. All right, there it is. All right, so isn't this pretty? Here, I'll send you one. Here you go. Here's your copy. Did it come to you? That was weird. How about now? Let's see if that works. Yeah, there's a copy of the script. You can go find it in my workspaces if you want. Giver. So you can do giver workspace if you want to go dig through it and find it yourself. But I mean, it's a pretty. I think it's a pretty well written shell script. It's got reasonably things. It does use. Oh, I prefer tests over brackets. I always have. This, I remember why I like this, because this is a shell script. That's why. Never mind. I'm confusing myself. This is a shell script. This is one of the nicest shell scripts ever written without bailing over to bash. However, it obviously has the problems of a shell script. So this kind of thing can be done on one line in bash. This is how you do. Is it in part of another thing? So it's actually a good example of a shell script. So I won't leave that. I'm going to take that out of my notes. That's not a good example of a bash script. That's a good example of a straight up POSIX shell script that like really kicks butt. It's like really good, really well written. And as I've said before, if you get one or two really, really good examples of a language, you really don't need a lot more than that. You know, it's the example at the back of the book, except for it's not in the back of the book. It's in a repo from somebody that you trust, you know, or a company or something. And then you go read it and you get really good at it and you're all good to go. I'm 12 minutes over, so I'm going to stop talking now. I appreciate all your help. Good old subscribe and like and all that jazz. Particularly likes on my GitHub repo. That actually helps me out a little bit because it does help visibility. There's more of a chance that the GitHub stuff will land in front of the eyes of somebody who's a technologist who's learning how to code or something. So all of it helps. Any way you can spread the word. Of course, anything beyond that, I really appreciate as well. And that's all. We're gonna go do. So I'm gearing up for the Vim script, the Vim RC tomorrow. We're gonna talk about that. And that's all. Bye.